Hello, you may be sitting inside a lot and wondering what to do with some of your time. I have some canvases and paint here, so I thought, while we're all stuck at home, maybe we could do some painting together. So I realized that this can take up more time than it looks like in the Bob Ross TV shows. I just spent about an hour getting things set up and handy so I'd be able to paint efficiently on camera. But I've got some paints here. This is oil paint. I've got my canvas and I've already got liquid white on it, so we're about ready to go. If you have paint or paper or canvas, whatever, at home and want to get out and just take this time to do something creative, it'll make you feel better and bring a little light to your day. And I'm using all the standard Bob Ross colors and things like that. This is going to be based on a photo I took at a friend's lake home a couple years ago at sunset. So really nice colors, deep blues and things like that, and nice wispy clouds. And I thought, since a lot of us aren't going to be able to get to the cabin as early as we might like, this might be a good way to kind of get some of that good cabin feeling. So let's get started and I'll walk you through it. I've set up my palette with just some phthalo blue, midnight black, Indian yellow, and alizarin crimson. The basis for the sky here is pretty simple, so I'm going to start with the blue and then add to it. Then we're going to have water come up into this too. So I'm going to get into the blue with a 2-inch brush. Like I said, I already have the got the liquid white on here already, so it's moving. The paint's moving really nice. Canvas is rocking here. And we're going to have a lot of water here, so I'm going to go up, put that high with the blue. And like always, there's no guarantee this is going to work. Since everybody's home, my daughter's watching cartoons and talking in the other room, and my wife's walking around upstairs, so we have a full house. Okay, now kind of going a little backwards from how Bob would do it, but I wanted to make sure my blue stayed nice and light. Well, he says as he puts a big dark spot on there. So I wanted to keep my blues nice and light through this middle. So now I'm going to go on top and add in some of that black to the corners and get it up through the water here and down, especially along this top edge and this corner. So I'm going into my black here. And just starting this up. And of course using X strokes as best I can. So that gets us into some pretty dark stuff up there. And go into that black and really get aggressive with it down here. So I want the sky to really shine and be the focal point. So the darker I get this bottom, the more bright is going to appear on at the horizon. Need to add a little midnight black. This to be so dark. I probably could have, I don't think I have any in the house, but I probably could have used liquid clear down here and had the colors stay a little more vibrant. Okay, so that is our dark colors. Go into 1-inch brush right in the middle. Go into make up a little orangey color. It doesn't look great on the palette, but I think it will work on the canvas. We want this to be really bright. Frankly, it's not bright enough, so alright, now we've got bright red and cad yellow. Let's see if we can make a little brighter. Okay, I didn't quite leave. I feel like I should have left a little more white area or light blue in this area, but now I'm going to take a clean brush and just try to blend this out a little bit. So I don't want to mix the yellow into the blue. I end up with green, which looks really funky. So I'm doing the opposite, flip the brush over. little much right now, but I think once we put the land in, blend this up a little better, start putting some clouds in, it's going to be okay. Alright, back from lunch and going to start putting in clouds. I'm going to take my alizarin crimson and maybe a touch of the blue, but we're going to pick up a lot of blue. There really aren't many clouds here, so... Looking back at my reference photo here. Not do that one any favors. I'm gonna get my shadows in the water. I'm down, and they distort a little bit, so it's not an exact mirror. And eventually our dock is going to cover this, so I'm not getting too worried about it. Hear my daughter playing in the bathroom upstairs, so I need to go address that. Okay, crisis averted. And we're back into our light colors. Some of this just onto the bottoms. Alright, we'll see if we can make that work. It's not super and not quite as vibrant as I'd like. We'll see if any of this works. Well, that definitely was a happy little accident. Okay. Now I'm going to take another brush and try to blend this up a little bit. Right now it's a little muddy. So I'm hoping I can kind of stir it up and mix it up a little bit. What I'm doing on these, I've got kind of one corner of the brush is what I did this dark stuff with, and the other corner is the lighter. So I'm trying to mirror that down here. Just trying to minimize how many times I have to clean out the brushes. This is all very dark down here, so now I'm going to take one of the larger brushes, that clean, dry 2-inch brush, and do a little fluffing here. I'm going to switch ways I was going, and then I realized if we want this to look like wind, we better maintain the same Alright, that's a little flat. Water, then we want to mimic that. A little harder. I'm going to clean out some brushes and pause. Come back, and we'll start laying in the horizon of the edge of the lake on the other side, and then the dock and some of the other parts. All right, we're back. I was just re-looking at my original here, and the strip of land across the lake is really, really thin. I was just re-looking at the original. And so I'm just going to use my fan brush and go right over that kind of dark yellow strip here in the middle, that Indian yellow strip. And first just try to get a straight line as best I can. That'll kind of be the guide for everything else. Normally, they say to not put your horizon right in the center, but for some reason on the photo of this one, it really works. So I don't know if that's because the sky and the water are so symmetrical that it really helps looking like that, but alright, so we're going to go just up into, and this far bank is pretty much just a silhouette, so I'm going to need a lot of dark to get into this. What I might end up doing is laying this out and then waiting till it dries, coming back and going over it with black again to just really make it dark. In some of my older paintings, when I was doing mostly acrylic, I had a rule of never using pure black. And so I would mix really dark blues. So black with a lot of blue in it. And I would do that just so the black had a little character to it. It wasn't so bland or, you know, so matte and dark. So I'm just using a little fan brush here and kind of try to stay. Okay, we're going to add some little treetops here. reflection as it comes over here has a lot more blue in it. Alright, let's see if this will work. This is one of those moments where I might be completely trashing it, but I'm going to try. Just giving some little back and forth. Not so bad at the top. If I can go back later and get some of this top darker, I think it'll help. That just kind of gives it a little set in. I might do, maybe I'll try a new brush here. Just do a very light pull down. Yeah, I don't know if that's right, but it looks better, so we'll call that good. Debating about adding a little white to the clouds. I don't know how bad that'll be. I've got another little brush here, and could maybe do some liquid white, blend it up into some nice pink. Get that a little more lively up there. So, liquid white. Alright, so we've got kind of a orangey, some orange action going on there. This is the part where we cross our fingers. You know, Bob talks a lot about working stuff to death, and I am beyond guilty on that one. I'm so bad at not just stopping when I'm mad. Well, that's, I'm going to try to fluff that out a little bit. Okay, looking at this compared to the photo, I was trying to be really narrow with this strip of land, and I was. But looking back at the photo and kind of seeing how the sky balances out, and if the water's supposed to be stretching that, it doesn't make a lot of visual sense to have this kind of Indian yellow behind the land mass. So I'm going to bump this up probably a ½ inch at least through this whole thing. And hopefully that makes the sky kind of balance out a little bit better. Because right now I feel like it's way too much on top for how little is coming forward in the water. So let's see. We're going to get into it and hope we don't ruin anything too badly. Because I'm adding extra height to this, I'm also adding a little extra detail. In the photo, these ridges are really smooth because you're just seeing really distant treetops, but since I'm bringing them forward, I'm trying to add a little more interest to them, just because I feel like it'll feel more real, even though it's incorrect. Okay, that kind of balances out the the bands of color a little bit and gives it just enough to feel a little more balanced. I like that better. Might hit up this end just to make it feel like it's on its way to balancing that side out, even though it doesn't in real life. But I can maybe even bring some of this up. So I'm going to say it's a little funky, but I'm going to say that's okay. And put the dock in and then see what we have. So I'll be able to judge it much better once I'm looking at it that way. So I'm going to scrape the paint off where I think the dock should go. In the photo there's a place to store the boat, but I'm not going to include that because I feel like it's a little bit too distracting. So I'm going to start at the middle. Then I'm going to go up to about here. Trying to get the excess paint off there. And lay in where my dock is going to go. Come on. Just gonna have this come out. It does get pretty narrow down there. Okay, hopefully I can do a better job with the brush. That's about where I want it. Okay, so let's take that dark color again. May as well use this fan brush. We're going to lay in that dock shape. I'm going to try to do a better job of making a straight line than I did with the knife. Here again, I'm going to make this dark, get it as good as I can, and then probably come back when it's dry and add another coat of dark blue to black. To make it really nice and dark and rich. So I apologize if we lost the last part of the painting there, but basically I just roughed in the dock. I'm going to clean that up when it's more dry and I can get the dock darker and the horizon line here darker, and they'll add some lights to the horizon as well to give it a little feel of like there's something going on, maybe a campfire or something. I don't want to add like house lights or power lines or anything like that because I want this to be, nice relaxing view to see. So I'm going to leave it here now, let it dry for a few days, and then come back and do those next steps. But again, for getting back into it, it's not too bad. I'm relatively happy with it. At social distance, it should be pretty nice to look at. So give it 6 feet or so, and it's great. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. And maybe you have some photos at home, either on your computer, iPad, or something like that, that you would want to give a try doing this too. So take a look, go through some of your old vacation photos. It's always a fun time to go back and revisit those moments and see if there's something there that you'd like to paint. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.